Hey Anna, I haven't talked to you for a while. How have you been?
Not too good.
Why is that?
Around this time last year, we were getting ready to go on a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Australia. I miss it so much.
I really miss it too.
Do you remember the first day at university?
Yes, the Hawthorne campus at the University of Melbourne.
The lecture hall was so cold. After introducing us to the school, we had to take an admission English test there.
Oh yes, then we were introduced to our English teachers. Do you remember meeting Anne and Derek in the library?
Of course I remember. We then had a tour of the campus and met Darren, the PE teacher.
After that, we started our daily English lessons. We had 3 hours of English lessons every morning from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
It was tiring at times, but we learned from it.
I miss Australia.
Yeah, I miss Melbourne.
What I miss most is all the sightseeing we did in Melbourne.
Every afternoon, we went to different attractions for sightseeing.
The most impressive one was the Shrine of Remembrance, which is a museum dedicated to telling the stories of soldiers who had died in battles. In this museum, there are 2 statues of a father and a son. Both of them died during the past wars. The government built these statues to commemorate them for their sacrifice.
For me, I miss Melbourne Museum the most. I remember we visited Melbourne Museum on a cold and rainy day, but we still had a great time. After a prep talk, we were allowed to wander the museum with our friends. The skeletons of dinosaurs were very impressive. We walked right under the skeletons and I felt so small compared to them.
We also learned about the theory of evolution by natural selection, a theory developed by Charles Darwin in 1859.
I thought the display of birds, reptiles, mammals, and amphibians were the most impressive. There were over 600 animals altogether there.
Look, that's Sammy and Ada. Hi. We were just talking about how we miss Melbourne. What do you miss most from the Melbourne trip?
It has to be the Melbourne Aquarium. Do you remember seeing the stingrays up close?
Yes, then we saw the starfish. We had the chance to touch one.
We saw so many things. We saw crabs, sharks, and penguins, to name a few.
What else made a big impression on you?
The Parliament House built in 1856 was interesting. Our guide Tony was very knowledgeable and eagerly interacted with us. The structure and history of the building is just fascinating.
Before I went, I didn't know there are streets that are approved for drawing on. Melbourne street art is internationally renowned and offers a feast of color, ideas, and energy.
What else can you remember?
Plenty. How about the Marangbing Airport?
We got to see the airplane and helicopters up close. We even sat in one and pretended to be the pilots.
It's all coming back to me now. I remember the State Library. It felt more like a museum than a library. It is gigantic. I wish we had a library like that in Hong Kong.
We got to see the whole of Melbourne from the Eureka Sky Deck. Melbourne is so big. Melbourne alone is 9 times the size of Hong Kong.
What else did we see?
Plenty. We went to the Melbourne University, the Melbourne Zoo, Botanical Garden, Captain Cook's Cottage, and the Chinatown.
Yes, but I don't think we have time to talk about every place we went to.
Okay, one last one then. The Puffin Billy Runway was the most memorable experience for me. On the world's oldest surviving steam train, we got the chance to step back in time. For an hour, we got sit on the side of the carriage with our feet dangling outside while looking at the most fantastic view. It was a great experience. I'll never forget it.
That was such a fun day. Do you remember the last day at Melbourne University?
We had to talk about the things that we have learned. I was so nervous, but it all went well in the end. Then the teachers gave us our graduation certificates.
It's true that time flies when you're having fun. Our time in Melbourne went by so quickly. Apart from learning English, we also learned about the culture of Australia and its history. We also learned to be independent. But what I appreciate the most is the new friends I've made and the everlasting happy memories I had with them.
Not just happy memories though.
What do you mean?
You can't have forgotten what happened at the hotel the night before we went to the airport.
Oh my god, that was scary.
Yeah, I remember a few students, including myself, were playing Uno in the hotel room. and out of nowhere, a woman suddenly banged our door around midnight. "Let me in, I'm calling," she yelled continuously, and none of us opened the door owing to the strangeness. We all quickly picked up something sturdy and placed it against the door to prevent her from entering. Meanwhile, our teacher had informed hotel staff, and it took another hour before the police arrived to take her away. It was such a terrifying hour. We were later informed that the lady was drunk, and that night was completely unexpected and unforgettable.
All in all, it was a great summer, wasn't it?
Yes! We'll remember this trip for the rest of our lives.
Bye!